friends. Hello, Media Masters. How you guys doing today? Angel Tuccy, your Media Mastery Coach. We are talking about exposure today for your virtual events, for your online events, everything that you've got going on, juicy goodness in the world. And I want to say happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Oh, I've got a cute little message popping up. Oh my goodness. How you guys doing? You guys excited for the weekend? Because I sure am. Right? It's gonna be a good weekend. My goal today is to finish up by 4:30 p.m. my time and get all my work done. So that's the goal. Like, we'll cross our fingers and see exactly how we do if we actually get there. And I just want to say I'm so glad you guys are here, and I hope I've seen many of your events get posted in the last couple of days. So I know that you are taking action. And that's what I want to say congratulations for. That's the biggest thing right now, is we need to take action, right? We are men of action, right? I don't know. Is that Princess Bride? I don't know where that came from, right? But when we have faith and we take action, the world shows up to support, to guide, and create miracles. And so we have been working off of my little Post-it note, like my little cocktail napkin, putting together our summit, our third Connect Summit. So I'm teaching you, I'm baby stepping you through everything that it took from the day that Tina and I said, okay, all of our events are canceled. Or canceling. And since then, I've had over 20 events, speaking events, where I was supposed to be out on stage, out traveling across the country, speaking, and all of a sudden everything was getting shut down. And I thought, oh my goodness, the event world, like, how are we going to stay on top? Everybody needs, like, we have so many speakers, we have so many people that are expecting to be taught to, right? Like, their business, like, we still need to learn all of this information. We still need to put it into action. We still need to move forward. So we decided we would put together a quick summit. We called it the Connect Summit. So having a title, right? Having the title, that scroll stopping title that's going to people stop in their tracks. And when they hear that, think that's me, that's something I need to participate in. I want to pay attention to that because that fits that hell on earth, that issue that I'm going through. And so we put together the summit, and now I've been teaching you baby steps, how that summit came together. Simple. Right, keeping it as simple as possible, because I want you to take action. I want you to have it done. I don't want you to get hung up on, I know that there are these events, there's all this great software, there's all these great things and technology. Yes, there are, but we climb the ladder to that, right? We start with where we're at, right? Attracting people, filling our events, and then we elevate. And so you can see from the Connect Summit, and the simplicity that we put behind, one, so we could repeat it. We are now getting ready to do Connect Summit 3 on April 29th, third virtual summit in 6 weeks. I mean, that was not something we would have done in real life, right? Where you had to go and find a venue and, book space and have printing done and meals and gifts and all of, I threw them away, but I would print tickets, right, to promote these events and to fill events, right, to get butts in seats, souls in seats, right? And so as we are putting these together, like, we've never seen the kind of attendance, the kind of visibility, the kind of action, right? Like, that people are just jumping in and playing with us. And so that's what I want you to jump into and take advantage of. And so April 29th, make sure you go and see Connect Summit 3, because it's coming up, but then we've been walking you through. There's something I want to talk about today that is all about how do you fill your events, right? Putting on the event is one thing, right? Having your speakers, having your schedule, having your theme, having your Eventbrite, putting the Zoom together, like putting the graphics, that's all the fun stuff, right? Like, it's creating mode. And I know that we've done this. I've seen this with people in real life. They get so distracted by putting the event together that they forget to fill it. Now, right now, we don't need nearly the ramp up time that we used to need to put people in, right? Because, right, the convenience of attending is so minimal, like, so convenient, like, it's maximized how convenient. It doesn't matter if it fits on their calendar or not, because they can squeeze it into other things that they're doing. They don't have to travel. They don't have to get a babysitter. They don't have to get a plane ticket. They don't have to get a hotel room. They don't have to get a buddy to share a hotel room with. Like there's very little planning on their part or adjustment to their schedule in order to attend your event. So the ramp up time needed to fill your event is far less, far more minimal than in a real event, but you still need the exposure, right? So I used to teach a whole thing on invitation marketing, and how just inviting people keeps your brand top of mind, keeps them in your castle, keeps them in your sales funnel. I used to teach invitation marketing because it wasn't so much about the event, it was more about the invitation. The invitation is what makes is the most successful part of your event. We think it's the event, right? We think it's the speakers. It's what we're going to be teaching them. It's what the theme is and what the printing and what the workshop or worksheets look like and what our workbooks look like, right? We think that it's all about the event. But remember, the event is engagement. What do I teach? Exposure and revenue. Revenue and exposure. The event is the engagement. Invitations is the exposure, and then how you monetize the event outside of the event creates the revenue. The event itself is the engagement. So I'm going to do some drawing for you guys today, because this, darlings, starlings, superstars, media masters, is where the rubber hits the road. This is the piece that makes my heart sing, right? That gets my heart pumping, because it is so much fun to throw the party. It is so much fun to create the exposure, to be visible, to be invited. But if we are not leveraging this to grow our business, then it's wasted, right? It's wasted. And I'm gonna walk you through, and I'm so glad you're here. So thanks so much for playing. Look, there's only 2 people here watching this today. You're going to be so sad that you missed. Although I did start a little early. I've been having some trouble getting the streaming to work. So my husband recommended, rather than go at the top, like right at the top of the hour and right at the bottom of the hour, when probably most people are going live, he's like, go a few minutes early and see if that helps. And it helped, right? It helped with our morning TV show this morning, if you didn't catch that. And it helped with this. But I was coming in a little hot, and I thought I might need a few extra minutes to get this going this morning. So I've got my handy dandy whiteboard. Can you guys see that? Can you see? So first of all, congratulations for those of you who are taking action. You already have your event planned. You've got the date. You know what you're calling it. You've already created an Eventbrite for it. You've started bringing your speakers together and started to do the promotion of it. But this is just so critical. This is the piece that that is going to be the brings it all together. This is the keystone to everything. This is the keystone to everything, right? And so what do I talk about? I wonder if I can do this with my little thing. I talk about getting people in your castle, right? Can you guys see that? Is that clear enough? Right? I think so. Hopefully. This is my castle. I'm not an artist, right? But I talk about getting people into your castle. This is into your database, into your CRM, into your list, right? This is you. They know who you are. They've heard of you. They know who you are. They're getting emails from you. They're following you on social media. Like, they are in your castle. They know who you are. You've met them in person, virtually. They've heard of you through exposure, right? Through a press release, speaking on somebody else's stage, or on the ranch, right? Yeah, Sharon Lechter calls it keeping them on the ranch, right? She owns the ranch, right? We do the Disney stuff around here. So, this is my little Disney thing. Okay, so what does this mean? Your castle, right? What's happening here? This is where you throw your parties, right? This is where you're throwing your parties. What are your parties? Summits, webinars, workshops, right? This is where you're leading them to, right? This is what you get them in your castle. They've heard of you, and you want to lead them to your parties, right? Your summits, your workshops. Maybe these are your sales calls, right? Your, what do you call those? Discovery calls, right? right? This is your calls, right? This is your, like that next step into your sales funnel, right? You want them to now get your presentation, right? You want them to find out what it is that you're selling, right? So that, right, we can sell them stuff, right? This is how we sell them stuff, right? We get them into our summit, to our workshops, our webinars, so we can sell them stuff. Like what? Like Dawn, right? Your program, right? Dawn's program, right? We want to sell her program, her predictive method sales program, right? Michelle, right? She wants to sell magazine features. Zandra wants to sell you a TV show, right? A streaming TV show, right? Your programs, your courses, whatever it is, you know, Wendy, right? Your financial services, right? So what is it? This is where you sell them stuff, right? So you get them to your party so that you can sell them stuff. Does that make sense? Right? But what ends up happening is we want to sell people stuff before they've even come to our party, right? So like, who do we sell this to, and who's at our party? How do we get people to our party? That's this side, right? That's this side of the castle, right? This is what we call OPP, or today we're calling it OPC, right? OPC, other people's castles, right? We want to go to other people's castles and invite, you know, to meet people so that we can get people into our castle, to our party, so we can sell them stuff. Right? Does that make sense? Right? We're at other people's parties, on other people's platforms, other people's castles. What does this look like? Press releases, you know, stages, other people's stages, other people's networking events, other people's Facebook groups, other people's summits, other people's magazines, right? Other people's castles. This is where we get people, where we meet people. We get people to say, I've heard of you. This is where we create exposure, right? But we don't go into somebody else's castle and say, you know, we're at this party. Come to my party. I'm having a party too. Come to my party. You don't go into somebody else's castle and say, come to my party. No, right? You don't even say, go into somebody else's castle and say, you know what? I know they sell this, but I sell this too. Right? I know they sell watches, but I sell even better watches. Have you seen my watch? Like, you would never go to somebody else's house, somebody else's party, somebody else's business. Like, if you sell insurance, right? You wouldn't go to somebody else's insurance luncheon, right? Where they've invited everybody there for their luncheon, right? To tell about their insurance, like a lunch and learn, and then sell your product there. That's just tacky, right? That's rude. But you want to meet those people, right? They are your ideal client. So you're at somebody else's castle, right? OPP, OPC, press release, right? You've got your press release on somebody else, on ABC, NBC, CBS, right? You get to be speaking, being interviewed on TV, interviewed on stage. Maybe you're inside somebody else's Facebook group. Maybe you're a guest on somebody else's webinar, somebody else's stage and summit. And if you're not there to sell, like if it's a stage that you're speaking to sell, that's different, right? Because they're actually at your workshop. They're there to hear you, and now you can sell, right? But this is the piece that is the most exciting, this is the most critical, and hopefully the biggest breakthrough in AHA for you. Because while you're at somebody else's castle, the goal is to let them know, to invite them. Invitation. You want to give an invitation, an invite to say, hey, I have parties at my castle. At my castle, let me tell you about the music we play, or the food we serve, or the theme, or our culture, right? And how do we do that? Through our opt-in. It's your opt-in becomes the invitation to say, hey, I have a castle. And at my castle, we do this really cool stuff at my castle. So it's really just about creating this invitation. So how do you fill your summit? Right? This is the piece. How do you fill your summit? How do you fill your webinars, workshops, your discovery calls? How do you get people to buy from you? You first go and hang out at some other people's castles. You guys do this now. You do it in networking events, right? You go to trade shows. You're involved in other people's groups. But what you're doing when you get there is you're saying, buy my stuff. right? You're missing, I call it breadcrumb marketing, right? You're missing these pieces. Like you want to go to somebody else's castle and say, come to my summit. But really it's at other people's castle that you just bring them the invitation to come to your castle, where now you have all these parties. So the people you are inviting to your summit, to your online events, to your workshops, to your webinars are the people that are already in your castle. Don't miss this. Don't skip this step and go into somebody else's party and say, hey, come to my party. You're building engagement, right? You need to build engagement with the people that are already following you. So look at your email list. Look at the groups that are your groups. Look at your Facebook followers, who's already following you. That's where you promote your summit, your workshops, your events, because they've already heard of you. You've already created the exposure. Now you have to create engagement. But you're creating engagement with your followers, your fans, people who are already listening to your music, eating your food, right? Tasting your stuff, right? They're there in your castle playing with you. And if you don't have enough people in your castle playing with you, leverage the OPP to your opt-in. Get them in your opt-in, and those are the people that you're inviting. And then what do we do? Like this is, okay, so does this make sense, right? I'm going to go through this because I'm going to erase this in a second. Oh, shoot, snap. I just wrote all over my white leatherish chair with my purple marker. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. But okay, so your castle. This is your email list. These are your followers. These are people that have already heard of you, right? How did they hear about you? Because they were invited through your opt-in. This is how you got them on your list. They heard about that opt-in, that invitation, from being a guest on somebody else's platform. Maybe it was a press release, a media interview, a podcast interview, somebody else's stage, somebody else's webinar, somebody else was mentioning it. Was you were in front of somebody else's audience because they had never heard of you before. Right? They're brand new, right? That's where they came from. You invite them into your castle, and now that they're in your castle, you want to keep telling them about all your great parties, all the fun stuff, all the fun ways they can play with you, all the great ways they can interact with you. What are those? Is it a membership group? Is it a discovery call? Is it, do you do networking events? Do you put on events? Like, what is it that you're doing? Your summit, your webinars, your workshops, right? This is it. And so here, you just want to keep inviting them. Like they're in there, so now we invite them, right? Did you get on a call? Have you been to my workshop? Have you been to my webinar? What's the next step? Up and down, in and out, like party invitation, invitation, invitation. It's in the invitation that you make people feel special, that you make people feel part of a tribe, part of a group, part of your community, right? And feel valued. Manny Lopez was on the morning TV show, and he says that most people don't buy the first couple of times they hear from you, right? And he talks about follow-up, right? And the fortunes in the follow-up and having that all of that stuff automated. It's in the invitation to come and play with you, right? So when you have an Eventbrite and you have a summit, there's an invitation for them to come and play with you. And you do that because you're doing it one-to-many, right? You're inviting them to the party and see, and you're putting out your samples, right? You can. And so let me do it like this. You come to the party, right? You come to Angel's party, right? You're inside my Facebook group, right? You're in my castle, right? And in my castle is my Facebook group. But now I want to find out like who wants more exposure, who wants to get your book published, who wants to put together their course, right? Who wants to who's doing things in the marketplace that is press release worthy, that is exposure worthy, that requires publicity, right? And so you're there in the castle, that's the Facebook group. But then I invite you to the party, which could be a summit. It could be a workshop. It could be even a pre-recorded webinar, right? Come and see me speak. Come and see my presentation, right? Come and see me do my presentation, right? You're here. And so I just keep inviting you to come and see things, right? To come in and learn about my stuff, right? My programs, what is it that I'm offering? My media master course, my boot camp, my private coaching, my publicity services, right? And so you learn about my stuff, right, from one of these, right, from a webinar, from a group presentation, from a signature talk. That's where you learn about it. This way, we're not building our business one-on-one, we're building it one-to-many, that we're building it to a group and we're presenting it to a group. If they don't buy, that's okay. We invite them to the next party. But who do we invite to the party? The people in our castle. We don't go to somebody else's castle because they haven't heard of us, and we're gonna, they don't know what kind of food, they don't know what kind of music, they don't know anything about you yet. And so by going out, right, by skipping this invitation part, right, you're over here saying, I have a party, and they're like, yeah, but I'm already over here, I don't even know who you are yet. I'm not going to jump right into your ballroom. I've got to get to the castle first. Does that make sense? Like, I was thinking about this morning. I got just so excited about it. And, how we could describe this to you for how do you fill your event. Invitation marketing has always been effective, right? Because you can put out an event and see who's interested, see who wants to come a little bit deeper into your sales funnel with you, who wants to come to the ballroom, and then who wants to be invited to the VIP room, and who wants to be invited to the, to the barn, right, for the horse riding lessons, right? Whatever the thing is, right, that you're teaching, right? Who wants to take that next step? Some people, they just want to come for the free party, and that's okay, because they become your raving fans. They become your ambassadors. They know other people who want to party, right, out in the courtyard, right? And so they can invite people to your castle for you as well. So even if they're in there and they're not buying your stuff, they can still be great referral partners and marketing partners, and create that invitation for you to help you get the word out. Maybe maybe you want to give them a special bonus, right, for inviting people to your party. And so you can create some affiliate marketing and some commissions or some prizes, or some special love and attention to them for helping you get the word out. Does that make sense? Hopefully I was all excited. I don't know how to draw a castle, right? But I do know marketing, right? And I do know all about exposure. And so when we think about everything that it takes to fill an event, yes, there's so much more activity right now. There's nothing holding people back from attending your virtual summit, your virtual workshop, your virtual events, because they don't have to travel. Right? Now they also, think about this, they're not spending money on tickets to attend the event, right? Because we're doing them for free online. They're not spending money on gas or travel, airplanes or tickets. They're not spending money on hotels. They're not spending money to eat out. They're not spending money on clothing. You're not spending money on printing. You're not spending money on food, right? All of this, even though we might not have the kind of revenue that we were thinking we would have during these 90 days, we also don't have nearly the expenses we were going to have during these 90 days. And so as we roll out, as we go back out into whatever our new normal is, the power of the virtual event is here to stay. And those who leverage it, those who are consistent, those who leverage the power of the invitation. It's the art of the invitation. And I've always been big on invitations, right? Save the date, right? I really want you here, because it's in the invitation. Oh, I forgot about this. Also, side note, if you're going to host a virtual summit, do hardwire into your computer so that you don't have Wi-Fi issues. That's just side note bonus for those of you who were like here in the middle, right? So it's, here's something that's really cool. Right? So if you're using invitations, right, to tell people about your summits, your webinars, your workshops, even if they don't attend your summit, even if they don't attend your event, if they are interested and they've been in your castle, maybe they've been to a party before and they know what kind of food you serve and they know what your parties are like, even without attending they could still end up buying your stuff, right? So they don't have to. So you meet them, right? I've heard of you. Oh, I like your castle. I want to hear more, right? I opt in, right? I learned about the events and the parties and the workshops and the things, and I like what that has to do, but they don't have to attend this to go here. They do have to be here to go here. And you don't want to be that rude, tacky person who's inviting somebody to buy your stuff at somebody else's party. But even if they don't come to your workshop, even if they don't come to your summit, you're top of mind. You've added value. You've made them feel special. And just by sharing the fact that you want them at your party, they can actually skip the party and go right to buying your stuff. That's my favorite. That's my favorite, right? Maybe they came to a party 2 years ago. Maybe they came to a party 3 months ago. Maybe they came to a party, whatever, right? You don't know their timing. You don't know where they're at in their sales process and where their business is or their life, their history, right? Their psychographics, all that. They can say, you know what, I've been watching. You throw some really good parties, Angel. I haven't been to one for a long time, but I know I need exposure. Angel, I saw you on somebody else's castle. Somebody else, I met you at somebody else's castle. I knew then, right? I opted in and I knew then. And now the timing is right. I want to publish my book. I want to create publicity. I want to leverage press releases. I want to come to the boot camp and I want to take that next step, right? I've wanted it then, and I've just been, working on some of my own stuff, right? You don't know their timing, which is why we have to keep our castle full. Why we can't just talk to the same people over and over again. And we've always got to be bringing in fresh new people into the castle. That creates the energy, that creates the sociology of it, right? People want to be a part of something bigger. When they know there's other people coming to the party. I mean, have you ever gone to a party because of the other people in the room? Right? I mean, sometimes we just go to the events. I mean, even some of the programs and things that I've enrolled in weren't so much because I wanted the program, but I wanted to be around the people that were at that program. I wanted to be at the dinner party with the cool kids, right? And so sometimes we invest in things. Sometimes we sponsor events. Sometimes we attend events. Sometimes we speak at events. Sometimes we go to a party just to have the association, right? That power of association of being in the same room with either those great marketing partners or in front of those ideal clients. But of course, we're not going into somebody else's castle and saying, buy my stuff, right? This, I hope makes sense. I hope this makes sense. And I hope this helps you in when you're putting on your virtual summits, when you think about, well, who's going to come to my summit? The people that are in your castle. They've been waiting for you to throw a party. They're all like hovering around in the dark corners, right? They're hanging out in your castle, but you're not throwing any parties. Like you're not putting out any snacks, right? And so they're all just kind of scattered, right? So they're in your castle. Now bring them together, invite them all to the ballroom, right? Or invite them, to the conservatory where we're going to have this like nice little gathering, this intimate gathering to get to know them better. And for you to give them a little bit more information about what it is you really do here, right? And how you can add value to them, right? Or bring them into the billiard room. We played Clue the other night, right? So we're doing all that stuff here. So I am so excited. I am so excited to help you put together, to encourage you, to inspire you, to leverage your summit. But remember, when we talk about the 3 levels of business, and exposure, enrollment, and engagement, can you see that? Exposure, engagement, enrollment, right? This is the part where we get so caught up in the engagement, right? This is engagement. They're already there, right? It's the enrollment, getting them to buy our stuff. Oops, my chair's in the way. Getting them to buy our stuff, right? And getting people to know that we have that castle, right? So focus on the exposure and focus on enrollment. But the people that are, your summit is part of your engagement. It's part of your engagement. You're not using the summit to necessarily create the exposure. You're using to people in your castle, you're using it to create engagement. But by bringing other people on as guests, right, to be at your summit, right? They're creating exposure for you, right? Because they're sending it out to people that have never heard of you before, right? So if you've got, like, for example, we have 12 speakers, right? So each one of them is sending it out. They're creating engagement for themselves, but they're creating exposure for each other. That's why this gets to be so beautiful, right? Because they're sending it out. And this is why you don't want to have a summit where you're the only speaker, right? You want to have a summit where you bring in guest speakers so that you can double dip, right? Getting people to your castle as well as creating engagement. And so it brings those two pieces together. And then out of that summit, people buy your stuff, right? And you create enrollment. So there's that trifecta. You're using it to create engagement to people in your castle. Your speakers are using it to create engagement to people in their castle. But by telling people in their castle about your castle, it creates exposure for each other. And that's, again, like more beauty, more beauty, more beauty, more beauty, right? This is how we become stars in all of this. So I'm excited. If you have any questions, I'm going to actually look here and see if I see any comments that I need to. So there's all these summits. How do you make yours the one? Oh, yes, right. Thank you, Nate. Because there are so many summits and there's so much. And there is this thing called Zoom fatigue where everybody's like, how do I pick and what makes yours unique, right? You do have to have your own little zhuzhi, like what sets it apart, that scroll stopping title, right? That is that pain point, that hell on earth, that exact issue that you solve. What's that juicy nugget that gets them in the castle, right? And so, people don't want to diet, but they want to look hot, right? We don't want to save money, but we want to have wealth. Like we don't want to do the push-ups, but we want to have the sexy arms. And so getting them in with the thing that they want, like what is the thing that they want the most, and lead with that. Then once they're in, right, now you can tell them about some of the work, right? Some of the challenges, some of the changes that they're going to have to make. But we don't ever start by, hey, you're going to have to change your mindset, right? You're going to have to lose 10 pounds and you're going to have to eat more salads and you're going to have to, stop spending money on shoes, right? Like we don't lead with that. You lead with what the good, juicy stuff is at the end, right? What is, we want the beach house, or we want the boat, and we want the lifestyle, and we want the white smile, and we want the fat bank account, right? And we want to be able to donate to our charities, and we want to, right? Like what is the thing that they want, and lead with that. And sometimes we have to get out of our own way, our own language, right? Because we're like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to write a press release. I'm going to teach you the 8 steps and how, the 4 W's. I mean, people don't want that. Like I want publicity. I want my brand next to that ABC, NBC, CBS logo. All right, we can do that. Now, then we get them in the castle, and then we take them through how do we do that, right? How do you position yourself? What's your juicy story? What's your compelling? What's compelling, critical, and current, right? But we don't lead with that. We say you're going to have your story your book's going to be a #1 bestseller on Amazon. Your brand, you're going to put your press release is going to get on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, right? And they're like, yeah, I want that. I want that. I'm like, that's what we do here, right? That's what we do here. So then we get them into my castle. And then once they're in the castle, now we tell them how, right? And we take them baby step through. That's our media master course, right? As the 12 weeks where we baby step you through all of the steps. So 90 days from today, mark your calendar, 90 days from today, you could have all the exposure, right? The unlimited exposure, because you'll have your media assets, you'll have connections to the database, you'll have your best-selling book, like you'll have it all. But I need those 90 days to position you, right? To put your package together, right? To make your castle so good looking, right? That everybody wants to come and play with you, right? So love that. Let's see. Is there anything else? I can't really tell. It won't let me actually scroll. It's only showing me like 4 comments, and I know there's a bunch here, and it says there's 12, but it won't actually let me scroll through them. Maybe if I do this. Nope. sorry, darlings, if you commented earlier, I will go back and read the comments. I will share my comments and my responses to you. Make sure that you enroll in the Connect Summit on April 29th so you can see how this all came together and you can be a part of it. I really want you to be there. And then if Media Mastery, right, is that next step for you, check it out, right? Get involved because there's so much opportunity for you to create exposure right now. It's just like dripping goodness of exposure opportunities that are going on right now. And I don't want you to miss out. This is the time. Let's be in front of the wave. Be those business first responders that are coming out of it, because now, right now that the world is starting to open up, right? We're getting back. We've had this opportunity where we've been home building our business, right? From the comfort of our own home without ever leaving home, right? This is how we've been doing it, right? The thing is, this is how we're still going to do it. We're still going to be able to leverage right here from the comfort of your own home, position you as that content expert, publish you, create the publicity, all leveraging out whatever the marketplace is doing. This is what we've been doing for 2 years, right? Is teaching you right from the comfort of your own home, wherever you've been at, to create the exposure, to create the publicity. And you guys see it, right? You see the results that our clients are getting, right? They're getting exposure. They're putting their books out. They're #1 bestsellers. They're being invited to speak. They're on stage after stage after stage every single week. You see the results right here inside Media Mastery. Don't miss out. Don't let anything hold you back. Whatever that excuse is, whatever that fear is, we take you by the hand and we walk you through. We do this together, right? We lock arms. We're in the same castle together. And y'all know, like, I learn it, I do it, I teach it. I take you through everything that you need in order to create that exposure that you are looking for. No excuses. Have faith. Take action. Jump in. Play with us, right? The Mastery Bootcamp. Like, we've never ran it for $300 before, right? It's always $1,000 ticket because we have to host it at an event, right? At a hotel, and there's all these expenses that are required. We don't have to do that this time. So for $300, you can come to Media Mastery, right? June 2, 3, and 4, just a few hours each day. Don't miss it. You guys, you're like on the fence. You're like, Angel, I want it. Just do it. Just do it. Y'all know, right? I'm going to help you monetize it. We're going to figure out your numbers. We're going to lead with our numbers, right? Because you got to know your numbers. You got to create exposure. You've got to create revenue. Revenue is my #1 guiding, leading marker, right? How are we making money? This is not a hobby, right? You are not building a hobby. You are building a business. You are creating impact. You are leaving a legacy. And the only way to do that, to impact hundreds, to impact thousands, right? Hundreds of thousands, millions, is to leverage other people's platforms, to get on stages, to get on TV, to get on the radio, right? To get on podcasts. You cannot do it one at a time, building your business, doing one-on-one discovery calls and one-on-one, sending those emails and those LinkedIn messages, like one person at a time. It doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter how you can do 400 sales calls a week, but who wants to do that, right? Wouldn't you rather do one interview, right? 2 interviews and get in front of 400 people, right? And then only talk to buyers, right? Attract the perfect people into your castle and then only talk to buyers. That's where you need to be spending your time, right? Not on this busy but broke hamster wheel, but actually in front of potential clients, good leads, hot leads, ideal clients. People are saying, I want that. Right? And because you've elevated your brand, because your story is in front of them all the time, because they're reading your love letter, your book, right? You are attracting clients instead of chasing clients. This is the juicy goodness. So yes, we started this week out talking about exposure for your online event, but really it's that keystone that is going to help you to attract those clients, attract those leads into your sales funnel. But how you get them there and what you do with them is just as important as the event itself, right? The event is the engagement. It's the party, right? Or it's the show, right? It's your discovery call, it's your group call, it's your presentation, but it's the engagement. It's the exposure and the enrollment that is going to grow your business. The summit is the tool, right? It's a tool in your toolbox, and we're going to leverage that, and we're going to leverage the virtual world, and we're going to keep you top of mind. We're going to have you so visible that you cannot be ignored, and you are going to soar, my friend. You are just absolutely going to soar. Oh my gosh, I just saw the time. I have to run. I have a coaching call. Michelle, I'll be right there. All right, you guys. Love you. You know my heart. I want success for you. We are here for you. Jump into the Connect Summit, April 29th. Check out the Media Mastery Bootcamp. If you are part of Media Mastery, your bootcamp ticket's already included, right? You all know that, right? Your bootcamp ticket's already included. But if you are not, this is probably the most economical way that you can jump in and get the entire Media Master course, June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th for $300. Invite a friend. Don't do media alone, because stages attract stages and media attracts media. I'm really sorry that I have to run. I knew this one was going to go long. I just felt it. And I'll be there. I'll be there soon. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.